Yeah. Okay then. So then, what makes us who we are? What makes us who we are? What makes us who we are? I don't really like this question. I don't like it. I think it's very exciting. It's a very exciting question, but I don't like it because it's also very complicated. You could say complicated things are fun that way. The more complicated, but shit, I don't know, man. I don't know about that. Sheesh, man. I don't know. I thought about it, and the reason I don't like this question is that it's just so many. It's just too many answers. Like what I'm really looking for. you know, that's a funny statement. If you're trying to have like an empirical approach to solving a problem, you're not gonna be thinking what I'm really looking for is this result. So I'm going to ask a question expecting the result that I had in mind. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. I must admit, there is a bit of bias in this one because ultimately, I think I thought about it, and there is this one answer. What makes us who we are? Well, to save you the minute. Sure, to save you the minutes of however how long this is going to be. What makes us who we are? What I really think is that it's our memories. If you've seen what is that Apple TV show, Severance. When I saw Severance, or when I the concept of severance is, it touches on memories, right? It's like, the guy, there's this company, the Severance company, they hire these people, but in order to be hired at that company, they have to wipe your brain, they have to wipe your memories, or they have to separate the version of you they have to separate your outside self from the self that enters the company. So that's the premise of Severance, and it really touches on the idea of what makes us who we are. Who are you? Who are you? Are we our memories? Or is it the decisions? Or are we the decisions that we make? I think the decision thing also has a part to play, but the core concept of Severance, the Severance TV show, is that it touches on memories. It questions if memories are what makes us who we are. Because when they go in the office, when they wipe their memory through the elevator, and they go down to the office, they're a different person than, of course, who they were outside the building. So, in my biased opinion, even when I watched the first time I watched that TV show, I wasn't really sold. I was like, it can't be memories, that makes us who we are entirely. Like, it can't be that simple, right? I was like, oh, come on, right? But it's not even that I was thinking about it afterwards. It's more like, in hindsight, yeah, man. Like, in hindsight, that's a very core thing to touch upon. If you're trying to answer that question, is it our memories that make us who we are? Is it our memories? And I think so. But in all honesty, that's not it. That's not it entirely. That's not really it entirely. But memories is a big deal. So, okay. Well, look, don't leave. Let's talk about this more. Well, because like you may even disagree. yourself, because this answer, it's not a, memories is just not really a satisfying answer, because there's so much that can happen to a person that can just entirely change them, even when they still have the same memories. Right? There's so much change. A person, it's like, oh man, I'm rushing ahead of myself. I had a layout. I've come to find that it is good to have some sort of layout and outline, but in any case, I'll go through the outline after I jump around through the core ideas. Right now, I'm just going off of thought. Yes. So yeah, let's abandon outline for now. What the hell was I gonna say? Yes. Yes. There's many things that can alter. It's not really all memories. Like, as much as I would like it to be memories, or as much as I would like it to be one core specific thing, I think the hardest question here is not what makes us who we are. The hardest question here is, what is that one specific thing that, if we were to be without, we would not be the same person at all in all circumstances. Right? And you could say that's memory, right? You could say that, but it's not always memory. It's not always memory. It's not always memory, right? Because for instance, there's this fellow in psychology with this case study back in 1950s. This fellow, Phineas Cage. When was this? Phineas Cage. When was this? I don't think it mattered. Look, 1950s, 1960s. It doesn't really matter when it was. Well, that's a rough estimate. But anyway, I want to know. I'm particularly now that I'm questioning it, I want to know. Well, okay. Here it says this thing here. It was in the this is 1800s. Phineas Cage. The accident. Yeah, while working on a railroad, a large iron rod shot through Cage's. Oh, it's not Cage. It's Phineas Gage. Gage's head, entering through his cheek and exiting the top of his skull. That's rough, buddy. That's rough. That's rough. Yeah, so before the accident, Gage was known as a responsible and well-liked individual, but after the injury, he became impulsive, irritable, and prone to profanity, exhibiting significant personality changes. And this was a landmark in neuropsychology, providing early evidence of the localization of brain functions, particularly those related to decision making and social behavior. Right? So you've probably heard of Phineas Cage. You've probably heard of him. And his issue wasn't that he lost his memories, right? Like, as much as I would like it to be that, oh yeah, lose your memories and suddenly you're not the same person. I think that's just as much as I'd like to narrow things down, because I like to I like to put things in little compartments. I like to contain chaos, or I like to organize disarray. It's like I want to ground something in the simplest way possible. I always want to do that. Like, I want to reduce an idea to its simplest form, or to its very core. It's things are more organized that way. I suppose I'm a neat freak in that way. It's easier to understand once you sort everything out and get to the very heart of things. But the thing with what makes us who we are, it seems to me that It's really not just memories. It can be it can be, for instance, what makes us who we are, our genetic makeup, for instance, right? It's like, what were you born with, or like, what is your IQ, right? Like, how were you born? How did you come out of your mother, right? What is the color of your skin? How large is your brain? How small or large is your brain? What is your IQ? What is your IQ? How well are you good at math? How To what degree are you artistically inclined, as opposed to like a cold hard facts guy, cold hard logic guy. It's like, are you Jordan Peterson, or are you the other guy, the other guy that invented the memes, the other guy that invented memes, the modern king of atheists, or whatever. What's his name? Man, I'm so bad with names. Stephen, no, not Stephen Hawking. Uh, yeah, him, right? Like, are you him, or are you Jordan Peterson, right? Are you drunk on symbols, or or do you just love math, or do you just love the are you just like, I'm not, like, don't talk to me about the metaphysical, right? Like, if I can't test it under the empirical evidence, it doesn't matter to me, right? It's like, what, right? It's like, I don't care. I'm not gonna take psychedelics and then see something that looks like DNA, and then suddenly I believe DNA. I believe we can see DNA, by taking mushrooms or whatever, right? It's like, yeah, it's like, I'm not going to go off of anything that I can't empirically prove, of course. Although, empirical evidence, or scientific evidence, has its own limits, right? But, like, yeah. So, yeah, maybe that went on a little bit too long there, but yeah, man, like, what 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 makes us who we are? It's a lot of things. It's it's a lot of things, right? It's the place that you were born in, how you were raised. It's like, if you were raised in one place as opposed to the other. Say, like, if you're say, like a video game concept, right? Like, say, like, Cyberpunk. You were born as a corporal, as opposed to you were born in the desert lands, or you were born as a street kid, right? Like, it's like you're playing the same character, but they're not really the same character. It's like different life paths. It's like, what makes us who we are? What makes us who we are? Uh, well, I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth, or is it a golden spoon, right? I was born with a golden spoon in my mouth, or I was born and raised eating with my fingers, right? I was born in a place where I sat on the toilet. I took a shit in the toilet, and the toilet wiped my own ass for me, as opposed to, I was born in a place where, in order to take a shit, there's like a little house. There's like a little house, a little dog house in the back of in the back of our house. There's like a little stall there, and in that little stall, there's a hole in the middle of that little stall, and you squat in that little, you squat on the hole, and you take a shit down the hole, and you look down the hole, and there's like a river of shit and maggots, squirming around and bubbling, like, all the chemistry is going down there, like, you actually see the maggots crawling in that river of shit, and you think to yourself, maybe one day, if I'm not careful, I may fall in there, but you look between your legs, and hey, that hole is not big enough for you to fall in there, but then you wonder, Maybe some terrible mother has thrown a child under one of these freaking holes, right? Some miserable human being has thrown a baby down this shithole, and there was just no way to get the baby back, and the baby drowned in the river of shit. Like maybe you were born in that kind of place. So that's certainly going to alter. That is certainly going to alter the way that you were raised. The way that you see things, the way that the things that you find is whatever. It's like it's going to alter your sensibilities to things, right? Like either you grew up in a very pampered existence, or it's like you grew up. You grew up being the person responsible for, cutting off the chicken's head, and so you can pluck off its feathers and help your parents prepare it for dinner or lunch, right? So, all right. Maybe let's look at the outline. Maybe that's too much of a tangent. Let's see. Let's calm down and look at the outline. Call that. How about let's say that's a bit of background in the topic. What makes us who we are? All right. So let's start simple. And keep in mind all the examples. So yeah, really. There is no one specific thing that we can point. I do not believe. I think it's just too many answers. Let's start with the physical. Of course, we've just gone over genetic makeup. Genetic makeup. What is your race? What is your race? Although I don't know. Well, let us consider the physical, because it seems to me that in trying to answer this question, or at least initially, I try to dismiss the physical aspect of this question, because I think to really answer this question, you have to go beyond the physical, right? I thought this to be true, but at the same time, I was a bit hesitant to throw it out entirely, given the example of Phineas Gage, right? It's like something went wrong, that. There's a part of his brain that the rod affected. I think I learned this in high school, but I've forgotten. What was the part of his brain? Yeah, the front part of the left side of his brain was destroyed, which is left frontal lobe, superior frontal sulcus, and the what was the primarily it was the left frontal lobe that was messed up. Yeah, I thought it was something like amygdala or whatever. Yeah, but no, that. So like that part of the left frontal lobe of his brain was they fucked it up, right? Like that iron rod, it really did a number on him. So yeah, it's like that's why I'm not trying to just dismiss the physical aspect of the question, because although I think you can only the best way to answer this is through really, I think you have to look deeper, but at the end of the day, you have to consider that if something goes wrong in your brain, it's you're just not going to be the same person, man. You're just not going to be the same person. But of course, in that instance, as a counter argument, one may say that in that case, Phineas Gage went insane, right? Like, it's like the brain trauma, the brain damage made him go insane. So, well, but what is insanity, right? It's like, okay, well, yeah, it's not like he changed; he just went insane. Right? No, man, no. Right? Like, I mean, I would like to say that, but it's like, it's the same thing as it's like say that you go to sleep and then you wake up and you walk down the stairs, or maybe you don't have stairs in your house. Yeah, it's like you get up from your bed, and you're walking through the halls, and you start doing things, and maybe you may do something that you may regret the moment after. But maybe it may be so that you don't quite remember what you did when you woke up that night. So, did you go insane? Were you still the same person? It's like, were you the same person when you woke up and started walking, went and did things that you don't remember? Were you the same person? Like, were you the same person? Or were you the same person, man? Like, this is a serious question. Were you the same person? How could you be conscious and not be the same person? Well, okay. Well, answer. That can come to be the case when you lose your memory, right? Like when you black out, right? It's like, okay, all right, we're not the same person without our memories. Let's say that we're not the same person without our memories, right? So yeah, look, Your Honor, I didn't kill my wife. I didn't grab a knife from the kitchen table, go back to the bedroom, and stab my wife 67 times. I was actually sleepwalking, right? It wasn't me, Your Honor. My hands did it. My hands. It was my very own hands, right? When I came to myself, my hands were covered in blood, but it wasn't me. It wasn't me. I wasn't in my right mind, Your Honor. I blacked out. I was possessed by a demon. It wasn't me, right? So, look, he was temporarily insane. The man was temporarily insane. Either, I don't know if you call that insanity, but he was not in a situation where he could tell between right and wrong, or even where the hell he was, right? So, was he insane? Or was he, well, let's say he was sleepwalking. His mind was gone and his body was acting on its own. How is that even possible? Like, it's not like he's a zombie or he's dead. But his body was acting on its own. He was not there. So, whatever the case may be, right? It's like, you come to be a different person. Let's say, was he even a person at all? Right? Like, I wonder, in that case, are you even a person at all? Well, I suppose you're still a person even without your memories. Well, you're right. Let's say that, right? Like, yeah, I think it's logical to say that an idiot, that is an old term. I mean to say a person who is mentally challenged. Well, you can call them an idiot. You can call them a retard. The funny thing about these words is that these all sound like insults, but at one point they were actually, they weren't meant that way. So, okay, well, let's say a person who is mentally challenged, right, to avoid any awkward misunderstandings. It's like, yeah, okay. In any case, that is a tangent. Yeah, of course, a person who is mentally challenged is still a human being. Is still a person. Yeah, but so yes, they were a person, but well, all right. So what makes us who we are? Our memories. You're not the same person without your memories, and your memories compile. Your memories are the amalgamation of the nature of your birth or upbringing. Well, the upbringing is more like the nurture. Our memories are the nurture and the environment in which you were brought up. Those let's say all those things fall within memories, right? The nature of your upbringing. Let's say what makes us who we are. I was born. I wasn't born with the right number of chromosomes, right? And so, or maybe I was born with an extra chromosomes, And like I was either born with less or more chromosomes than a regular person needs. So I ended up with male sex organ within my body where the ovaries are supposed to be, and on the outside I ended up with something that looks like a mutilated penis, but it's some sort of combination between the female sex organ and the female and the male sex organ, right? It's like it's a penis, but it's also a vagina. So I grew up, I was raised, I just didn't come out right, right? That is the nature, and the nature of how you were raised or the nature of how you were created, that can greatly impact who you are. Although at the same time, at the same person, the reason I don't much care for the physical in that regard is that two people who come from completely different continents with completely different nature and nurture, with completely different upbringings in regards to nature and nurture. It's like two people from drastically different continents could have the same opinions on things and just about get along, to the degree that they even become best friends, right? But then, you could ask, why is that? How can that come to be? Well, temperaments, and maybe at one point in time they were exposed to the same world philosophy, despite having been in two drastically different countries, right? It's like, yeah, I'm a guy that comes from Africa, and there's this guy that comes from I don't know, man, like the Northern Isles, man, the frickin' the mountains, the freezing cold, and somehow we're both Marxists. We somehow we come to the agreement that actually, maybe Karl Marx might have had something to say. Karl Marx might have been onto something, right? We turn out to be we turn out to be very, very happy communists. We think it's a very great idea, right? It's like, yeah, I don't much care for the I don't think nature versus nurture. It's not very satisfying to me, but I suppose you could say that is an opinion. Well, yeah, let it be an opinion. It is certainly an opinion. It is certainly an opinion. What makes us who we are? Well, I don't think it's very satisfying. I don't think it's a very satisfying answer. The nature versus. Let us say that this is contained within memories, right? Like there is no nature versus nurture, right? Part of why I'm dissatisfied with the angle of the genetic makeup angle, the brain / intelligence angle, the physical, the physical, the physical. What do I say? This is the physical form of the answer, or the physical version of the answer, right? Like it's not very satisfying because it seems to me like at the end of the day it is limited by the metaphysical, which is memories. You can wrap, like, it's not going to matter how you're born or where you're born. It's not going to matter what you were made of or where you were raised up if you don't have memories, right? I don't think there's ever been a case where a person has absolutely no memories whatsoever, right? Like they're an absolute blank slate. I don't think that may not even be possible, because like there's somatic memories where it's like maybe you don't remember all that much, and maybe it's like maybe you forget. It's like you forget everything you've ever known every 30 seconds. It's like every 30 seconds you forget everything you've ever known about the world. Right? It's like there was this guy, there's cases like that where it's like this guy, he forgets himself every 15 to 30 seconds. Like you could talk to him, you could see him every day, you could see him for the whole hour, but he's going to forget you every 30 minutes. I mean, he's going to forget you every 30 seconds. And he was like that, but he could still play piano, right? Like that memory never left him. What is it called? Somatic memory? I'm not sure what it's called, but it's called something. It's called something. It's definitely a real thing. Trust me, bro. But yeah, like the thing with this guy, what was it called? Retrograde amnesia. I should probably stop throwing out all these terms. I should stop throwing out all these terms. Retrograde amnesia prevents people from recalling past events, information, or experiences. Anterograde amnesia. Yeah, I was worried about the other version. Anterograde amnesia is when you can't form new memories, but can still remember things from before you developed this amnesia. Yeah. So there was this guy, this fellow here, the old fellow. He was perfectly. He could not contain memory for longer than 30 seconds, and you would have to introduce yourself over and over. But the one thing he didn't forget how to do was play piano. That, and the fact that he remembered his wife. It's like his wife was the one person he remembered every time. It's like she's the only person he never forgot at all. He remembered her every time, and he was happy to see her in the very same manner. It's so sad, and it's like a bittersweet. It's a bittersweet thing. It's like he remembers his wife, and he's as happy towards her every time with the same reaction. It's like he's seen her for the first time, and he's so happy, right? But of course, this lasts for 30 seconds, and then he has to, he sees her all over again, right? It's all very sad, but so clearly, it's very difficult to forget everything you've ever known, and even if you that happens to be the case where you have retrograde amnesia, like your body will remember some things, like your body. So like you're never really a blank slate. You're just never really a blank slate entirely. You're just not. Yeah. So clearly, the answer lies beyond something you can't physically reduce. Although the physical does play a part. In recollection of the Phineas Gage example, right? Like something could go wrong in your corporeal brain, and you're just not the same guy, man. You're not going to be the same guy. So yeah, ultimately there's a plethora of things, and like even memory. The thing about memory also is that it's just not even memory is just, if you really think about it, like there's an angle in which memory is also a dissatisfying answer, right? Like I think memory is the best thing to touch upon. Memory is a pretty good reduction. If you're, I mean, it's not really considering all the other things, but like memory is like it's more like the fun idea. It's like, ooh, what if it's really your memories, right? Like, ooh, what if it's really your memories? Wow, right? It's like, ooh, we can make a whole TV series about this. Yeah, but the thing with memory is that, okay, well, this is a science fiction example. Now, consider. What if you had two people? What if you had a person who, take the example of Legion, right? We are Legion, like take the example of an entity which possesses several minds in one compartment, right? We are Legion. We are Legion. We have the same thoughts, same mind, one soul, right? It's like we're it's like an amalgamation of different entities in this vessel, right? We are. There is no individual. We are. We think the same things. We like the same things. Like everything is the same. Right? It's like we're the same. Everything about us is the same. We're never gonna act any different from each other, from one another. Like we're never gonna do anything different, right? Like it's not like we're twins, right? Like no, we're one. We're one. It's the only thing is that we're aware we're several different entities within this one vessel, but we are a legion. We are united. We are extreme Democrats, right? We are pure democracy. There is no 100. There's no 99 yays and one nay. Like there's none of that. There's never any of that. 10 out of 10 times, it's 100. It's 100 yays. It's 100 nays, right? Like it's never gonna be any other way, right? Now, except what if something happens and this legion of ours, this utopia, this harmonious convergence. What if something happens and say one of us was to be placed outside of this one vessel, this containment vessel. Say that one of us was to be misplaced or displaced and put somewhere else. Now we're still legion, but we're missing a member. It was 100. It was 100 of us, but now it's 99 of us, right? One of us is missing. How about it was 50. It was 100. It was 100 of us. Now it's 50 of us. But in any case, let us simplify things and say it was 2 of us. Now it's just one of me, and then one of you. Right, like now we're not in the same body, and we don't share the same thoughts. We don't share the same memories. Now what happens? Like we've had the same memories all the way up to that point. And, but now that we're in 2 separate bodies, I suppose you could say we're twins. And now we have been given the opportunity to think differently. Right now, because unless there's we have the ability to link our memories and to maybe we can still sync, but let's say for the sake of this experiment we can't link our memories back together again. We have the same memories all up until the point we came to split, and now there's you and there's me, right? Now, are we still going to be the same people? Right? That was a bit long-winded. Perhaps I didn't have to drag it out that long. And look, it's not my fault. I'm like this. Yeah. Anyway, now it's just 2 of us, right? It was one of us. Now it's 2 of us, right? And yeah, sure. Now we get to experience life like everybody else. We're still best friends. We still do everything together, but the problem is that we can't hear each other's thoughts. We no longer share the same memories. We've been given the opportunity to dissent from our original programming. We've been given the opportunity to be individuals. And the moment that happens, as twins are not the same people. As much as they marry the same wife, they wear the same clothes, like they share the same girl, whatever freaky things twins do, right? Like as much as they like to be the same, they can never be the same. They're just not the same, right? So so now one of us becomes I'm a liberal now, and I'm a liberal. And my twin is a conservative. Something happens, but maybe we go separate ways, or or maybe we look at an event and we see the same event, but each of us comes to have a different opinion of that event based off of the experiences that we've had differently that have corrupted our initial unity, our initial sync, right? Our initial synchronization. We're no longer in sync, and now we have been made susceptible to see things differently, from different angles, different perspectives. Now are we the same person just because we had the same memories? It's like, I think, you could say, it's like, if two people have exactly the same memories, they can't be a different person, right? It's just the same guy in a different body. It's like, yeah, you might as well be like a copy of the other person, right? If you share the same memories. But as long as, I'm not sure, maybe you can make an argument in which, maybe there's a way. But if you share exactly the same memories, I don't think you can be any different from another person, because, like, even if you watch the same thing, we're just not going to see it the same way, right? Like that's just how it is. Like how a couple will watch the same movie and they're going to come out with two different opinions, right? Because they're in two separate bodies, right? So well, in any case, this goes back to the point. No, it doesn't go back to that point. But yeah, in any case, what was I talking about? In any case, yeah. So yeah, the thing with memory is that memory is not all we are. This actually invites the idea invited in this case against memory is, additionally, we are who we are based off of the decisions that we make. So now, how about that? Are we the amalgamation of the decisions that we make? Are we the decisions that we make? Right? It can't be memory. Memory will only take you so far. Memory will only take you so far. No. Actually, no. I think. No. Let's go back to memory. Maybe the issue with being a legion, the issue with being a composite being that splits off into separate entities now, right? Separate individuals. The issue there, the thing about I was trying to argue against memory that, it's like, well, no, just because you saw the same event, it does not necessarily mean you have the same memory of things. Isn't that funny? Oh, well then, I suppose memory holds up then. Memory holds up pretty well then, doesn't it? Right? Well, no. Let's not say that memory. I'm not saying memory is at the very core of what makes us who we are. I'm not saying that, right? Like, there's many different things that can influence a person's change from one being to another, depending on the time period. Yeah, so, but like, memory is a very big thing. Right? Like, if you don't have any brain accidents that make you go insane, memory is very big. Memory is very big. And, just because, again, I was trying to argue against memory, like I was trying to argue against the case for the limited. It's like I was trying to argue against memory as I was trying to argue against the limited nature of the physical explanation, the physical makeup, the physical genetic makeup and such. But it seems to me that memory holds up pretty well. Again, just because you have just because two people saw the very same event, it doesn't exactly mean, unfortunately, it doesn't exactly mean that we actually have exactly the same memory of how things went down, right? The same freaking event, different memories, right? Isn't that just sad? Isn't that just like, like what? I think that's very irritating. That's very irritating. It's like we see the same thing, and somehow we have different takes. Like somehow it's like, but somehow it turns out it wasn't really the same thing. So then it comes to be who was right and who was wrong, whose memories are more accurate than the other, right? No matter whose memories are more accurate than the other, I think the point still remains. The point still remains. This is not a matter of right and wrong. This is a matter of we saw the same thing. Do we have the same memory of it? No. That's awkward. Yeah, I think that's very awkward. Yeah, no, we don't have the same memory, even though we saw the very same event, right? Why am I like this? Okay, here's a terrible example. Anyway, I'm not gonna elaborate on it so much, but in the case of rape accusations, can I say this on YouTube? Although I have said a whole lot of atrocious things, and I'm not sure. I suppose we'll find out. I don't want to find out, but maybe we will. In the case of like rape accusations, two people engage in an activity, and the guy is thinking, "Wow, she's really into me," right? Wow, this is a really great day for me. I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't know it would happen this soon. She's kind of a freak. She let me do this, right? And like to the guy, and it seems like the woman is consenting, maybe, right? I don't know, man. Like, yeah, like to the guy, it's like, wow, this is great, right? I'm getting lucky so early in the whole game, right? Yeah, it's like that one cutscene you didn't think would pop up. Yeah, but like, yeah, so the guy is like happy. He's like, wow, that was great. He wakes up the next day, she leaves. She doesn't even say goodbye. And like a few days pass later on, and he's being accused of rape, right? Like he's being hit with all those allegations. Try to dodge these allegations. He raped me. He sexually assaulted me against my consent. So like now the guy is confused. Like, what the hell are you talking about? Were you drunk? I think we're both. We weren't drunk at all. We were both consenting adults here. Like, what is she talking about? But like from the girls, from the woman's perspective. He came on too much. She didn't really want him, so maybe she just obliged, or something like that. I don't know, man. Like I don't, I'm a man, so I don't understand women myself. But let us not discredit women, just because we don't understand them. Let's play devil's advocate and say maybe there may be something. Maybe the guy was just an idiot. Maybe he just didn't see the signs. Maybe she didn't really want him, but like he forced himself, and maybe he thought she was like being playful or whatever. And like they do the thing, and she wasn't really into it, so she sort of just like gave up. I don't understand, man. Like I don't understand, but like, that is my fault. And the fault of guys also, for not seeing that, for not seeing those cues. Although again, it's like maybe she should have said something. Maybe she should have been a bit more clear. But in any case, whoever's right or whoever's wrong, right? The case still stands. The point still is, it's like, yeah, just because we shared the same experience, we have different perceptions of how it went down. And of course, the obvious factor that matters is that we're looking at the event from two different eye holes, right? You have your eyes, I have my own eyes. They connect to two different brains, and right? Who's to say whose brain functions better than the other? So, where was I going with all of that? Where was I going with all of that? Shit. I don't know. I've forgotten. Let's see. Where was I going with all of that? In any case, I don't think it matters. Let's that's fine. I'll find my way back. That's okay. Let's just keep talking. How about? Well, let's talk about decisions in any case, right? Decisions. If memories is not satisfying enough for you, all right. If if memories is not a satisfying enough answer, well, why would that be the case? Oh yes, I suppose let's get back. Let's get back then. Memories may not be all that satisfying an answer because of course, there comes, again there comes the issue of well, let us for simplicity's sake, let us say that if you're a legion, if you're a multiple entity living in one head, if you had another personality within your head, in any case, even in that situation, you're blacking out and blacking in. Like you don't have the same memories. It's like you live two different lives. So that's not even it. In a hypothetical scenario where if you're a part of an entity, a legion of souls, and you were to separate, you could say you were one, but now that you're an individual, you've split off into individuals. It's just not going to be possible. So well, okay, well, I think memory. Yes, yes, yes. Memory is a very satisfying answer. Memory is damn near undisputable. Memory is a very strong answer to to what makes us who we are. It's a very strong answer. I think it's a very strong answer. And with the slight awkward with the slight awkward matter that if someone was to shoot you in the head, if your brain was to be damaged in any particular way, and fortunately for you, you came out of you came out of the unfortunate situation alive. Something may go wrong in your head, and your memories. It doesn't really matter what you remember or what you know. You're just not gonna be the same person. So whether you can call that insanity or whatever. It's like at the end of the day, you're not the same person. So what the right? Like, well, that's how it is, right? So I think that's also an awkward thing. So, and I really hate that. I really hate that I can't reduce it down to one specific answer. What makes us who we are? I really that really bothers me. That really bothers me. That really bothers me. But I suppose at the end of the day, well, let's say what makes us who we are is the physical and the metaphysical. These are equally important. These have an equal amount of power to alter us, that we come to be not the same person we were the day before. Memory, the physical and the metaphysical, they can do this to us. They can alter. We're very, I suppose, in that way, we're very fragile things, right? Yeah, I suppose I should not be so upset about not being able to contain it all in one neat idea, in one neat concept, in one core. I suppose it's okay that I can't point a finger to one specific thing, one specific idea or concept or soul, internal, whatever. So decisions. Let's talk about decisions. The long awaited. Let's talk about decisions. Decisions. Well, before decisions, how about maybe let's talk about the soul. No, I think the issue with the soul is the issue with soul is that I don't know what to say about that, honestly. Yeah. The soul. I don't want to. I want to make sense to people who don't particularly subscribe to that idea. The soul. And because I don't really understand it myself. So let's say let's be simple and say if you had a different soul, you will not be the same person, right? Like let's just say that let's just say that if your soul was to be Like, how much of your soul can you lose? Can you afford to lose until you're a different person? Oh, ho 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 ho. You know, the soul itself. Let us tie the idea of the soul to decision making, right? So, say you have a full soul of 100%, right? It's like how many decisions can you make, for whatever reason, whether you get a brain injury, or maybe you lost your memories, or maybe there's something that has happened, there's some event. Well, yeah, let's say whether due to the physical or to the metaphysical, maybe brain trauma, physical brain trauma, or physical or psychological brain trauma, or it doesn't even have to be trauma. It just has to be something significant, something physical or metaphysically significant that alters the nature or nurture of your soul. Let's play around with the idea of the soul. Let's entertain the idea of the soul for you non-believers. Although although even that I don't understand it myself really, but let us play with that vague idea of the soul. Let us say how much of your soul, but I suppose you can understand the soul as, let's say who you are as an individual, at your innermost, at your innermost, right? Who you are as your innermost self. How much say you're 100% soul, right? How much of your soul, and also let us make the supposition, the presupposition that that decisions impact, decisions change, are able to alter the nature or shape of your soul. Let's just say the nature of your soul, the makeup of your soul. What makes you who you are? Let us say that the more drastic decisions that you make, the more your soul shifts into something different, for the better or worse, right? Let's say that I think decision making goes beyond the physical and the I think decision making is a layer that goes beyond genetic makeup and memories, and everything that is encapsulated within memories. The decision making, or decisions are, I would say decisions are the amalgam of the nature of your form and the nurture of your upbringing, right? It's like, I'm ugly, and so I will behave this way. I'm timid, I will behave in a timid way because I'm ugly. Or I will behave like I just don't give a fuck because I know I'm ugly and there's nothing else I can do about it, so I will act however I like. Right? It's like I'm hideous looking to the society that I live in. Right? I'm repulsive. I'm not very fair to look upon. Or, I'm very handsome and I'm very lucky with the ladies. And whatever gender I'm inclined to, whatever gender I fancy to have access to, let us be PG-13 and say, in courtly matters, it's like, yeah, I'm good looking, I find, and therefore I find easy access to people, really, even in like general interactions. It's like, right, it's like, yeah, like this guy, he's like missing teeth. Yeah, I don't want to talk to this guy. He's probably a homeless person. While the other guy, he has a very nice smile, very nice hair, right? He's got his makeup on and everything. He doesn't even need makeup. He just looks good. He has very nice eyes, right? So yeah. Man, another tangent. Another tangent. But yeah. Right? It's like the decisions that you make. Let us say, I think it makes sense to say that how you're, what the form in which you were born in, the shape and form in which you were born in, and the environment or nurture in which you were raised. Right? These are very important in decision making, in the things that impact your decisions. Like, so let us say, there is genetic makeup, and then there is memories, and then there's decision making. Right? Everything falls under decision making. Now that you are who you are, with everything that makes you corporeal or non-corporeal, what decisions will you make? What are the decisions that you will make? So perhaps you could say, in that way, decisions are decisions. Perhaps then you could say that decisions are also what really make us who we are, right? Like, if you were to zoom out, the microscope and to see it at a macrocosm, perhaps you could say it's like, it doesn't matter where you're from, it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, right? Like, it doesn't matter where you grew up, how many fingers you have, right? If you have feet, like, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, what really matters is the decisions that you make, and that ultimately is what defines you. So, say you've had a consistent way of living life and a consistent way of decisions, like to the point that if a person knew you, they can predict certain decisions. They can predict a bulk of the decisions that you are normally capable of, that you normally portray, that you normally carry out. Yes, that you normally carry out. So, like, if you wake up at a certain time, right? Like, a person's not gonna, someone who knows you, they're not gonna expect you to wake up at 6 p.m. if you've consistently been waking up at 12 p.m. I mean, no. That's actually even worse. How about, let's say, if someone has known you to wake up at 6 a.m., they're not gonna know you for someone who wakes up at 12 a.m., right? Yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah, yeah. So, but what if you want to be another person? For whatever reason, maybe you want to be better, and so you start making certain decisions that will alter. Now you could say, what does that have to do with the soul? Yeah, whatever. It's a fancy idea. You can throw that out if you want. I don't know what to make of it either. I don't know. But let's say, well, the soul is a very deep thing. So let's say, on the soul, as regards to the soul, let's say you're a good person, and let's say you generally consider yourself a good person. You're a law-abiding citizen, and you do everything right. You're very sociable. You're very nice to people. You donate to charity. One day something changes, and you just stop doing that, and you start making the decisions that alter that romantic idea of the soul, of who you are. Maybe you think of yourself as a kind soul, and maybe you start making the decisions that aren't such, or they're not so in line with what may define a kind soul. So, what then? What then? Well, in that case, I suppose you're a different person then, right? What makes us who we are? Well, I mean, the question isn't how easy is it to change a human being. It seems it's very easy to change a human being. Of course, you may need to apply a bit of trauma there. I think if you want to change someone, a radical and likely traumatic change is the fastest way to get about that. But so like I don't think that's all very. I don't think that's really the big question. It's like again like you're not the same person you were 20 years ago. Well, let's say like you're 20 years ago you were 10 years old, right? 10 years ago you were 20 years old. No, 20 years ago you were 10 years old. And now you look back at your 10 years old self. You're like 30 now, and you think, man, I'm just not the same, right? It's like, yeah, right, like so in the first place, what makes us who we are. uh yeah, man, like on the matter of decisions, right, like decisions that you made when you were 10 years old are probably not going to be the same decisions that you're making at 30, right? It's just you're just so much more now, right? There's just so much more of you now, right? You're a more fully fledged human being. So, so, well, I don't think that's not the issue here, really, right? It's like, maybe there's some core decisions that you will always make, since you were 10 years old, because like some things are just they just really stay with you, right? And that's how we come to have similarities, amidst all our differences. That's how we come to have similarities. Maybe there's some things that we experienced in our life paths, at separate times that made us come to the same inclinations, the same, maybe it's like a matter of OCD. Like I can never, as much as I've changed as a person, I can never do this one thing different. Every time I wake up, I always feel the need to lay my bed. I have to lay my bed. It just bothers the shit out of me if I don't do it. Right? It's just gonna be on my mind, and I will just feel I will feel incomplete, and maybe my day will be ruined because I didn't lay my bed. Right? Maybe not having done that little small thing will ruin my day for the rest of it, for the rest of the time. So, yeah, what makes us who we are? Well, it's a lot of things: environment, physical homeostasis, experiences, um, and we are never one specific person our whole lives, right? So we're just not, and there's a lot of things that affect that bring that to be. There's a lot of things that cause that to be. So, what makes us who we are? I can't help but feel dissatisfied still, despite all the ideas that I've covered. I don't know. Yeah, I feel. Well, I feel like I've covered as much as I can, but um, I don't know. I don't know. I guess that's it.